What's up everybody, Jake from P3 here with you, and I've got some exciting news. We now make Hyundai gauges, and we've started with the 2nd gen Veloster. Great little platform for our products, and what they are is an OBD2 based gauge, just plugs right in your OBD2 port, and our display mounts discreetly in your air vent for your AC. It's gonna read all kinds of info right off the network for you, and it's even got analog inputs for additional sensors and that kind of stuff. So let's jump in the car together, go for a ride. I'll show you what it looks like, everything it does, and you can see for yourself that this is a great gauge solution for the Veloster. So we're out in the car, engine off, gauge is off, and the gauge actually just turns on and off with your engine. So we can go ahead and start our engine. Give the gauge just a second there. It's gonna boot up. And we are now reading vacuum and boost. So we can see with some throttle input, our vacuum comes up to 0. That's going to default in inches of mercury, and then vacuum. And then once we jump over to positive, when we're making boost, that'll be PSI. But we've got 2 buttons on the gauge, left button, right button. The right button is going to cycle through all your readings. So we've got boost, coolant temp, vehicle speed, battery voltage, RPM with a shift light. That will work no matter what reading you have going on. And this is programmable to whatever RPM you want. I've got it at like 4,200 RPM right now, and this is what that looks like. So you can see it rapidly flashes, especially at nighttime. It is very bright. We'll keep going here. We've got intake air temp, exhaust gas temp, ignition timing, throttle angle, air fuel ratio. Got some performance timers, I'll show you those in a minute. And then we're back to boost. So if we go ahead and get out on the road here, we can make some boost, and then each function is going to have a peak recall, so you don't have to be watching the value live at all times. I'll give you a little demonstration of this right here. We can make a small pull. So we're gonna go through first, shift second, and now I wasn't looking at the gauge, but I want to see what my max boost was. I can just tap the left button. 17.7 PSI is our peak boost created. And now that feature is going to work in all different functions, whatever readout you are currently reading. You can be driving along for hours at a time. Say you've got an intermittent overheating problem. You've been driving for a few hours, didn't notice if your coolant temp ever got hot. Tap the left button, boom, you see your peak coolant temp created since you started the car or since you did the peak recall function previously. So as we're driving along here, we can just cycle through different readouts and be reading data. So we got coolant temp there, vehicle speed. The vehicle speed can be programmed to match your cluster, so you can add or subtract 1% increments from -9 up to +20 to match your factory cluster. One of the cool features of this gauge is that it's got a built-in 0 to 60 timer, as well as some other performance timers. And to do that, all you do is jump over to the 0 to 60 timer, right like that. And it is going to tell us to stop because it sees vehicle speed. So we're gonna get up ahead here and come to a stop. Once we come to a stop, the gauge is gonna automatically switch over to say ready. And then it's gonna give you a perfect reaction time. And as soon as you get a vehicle speed input, it's going to start a timer. So here we go. All right, 6 seconds even. I've never driven this car before. Peppy little thing. But basically, as soon as you hit 60 miles an hour, your timer is going to automatically stop, and then the gauge will continue to display whatever time you came up with until you come to a complete stop again. Last but not least is probably my favorite feature of the gauge, and that is code reading and clearing. So when you're on a road trip or you're just out on the road, you don't need your laptop, you don't need a dongle or your phone or anything. The gauge can do it right there for you in your vent. Just hold both buttons at the same time until you get into the config menu. The first setting that pops up is going to be DTC, which stands for diagnostic trouble codes. If you did have codes, just go ahead and hit the left button, tap it, and it'll display those codes for you. It just said no code there because we have none. If it did record codes, it's going to give you one code at a time, and it'll be a 4-digit code, and these are powertrain codes. So if you're going to Google search that, just put a P in front of the 4-digit code it gives you, and you'll find out exactly what's going on with your car. Once you figure that out and you want to clear those codes, just hold the left button. It's going to say the word hold. Keep holding until that disappears. Now the gauge is clearing those codes out of the ECU, and it's going to say CLRD for cleared. and boom, you're done. And then the gauge is gonna pop back up in gauge mode and display whatever parameter you're reading last. So whether you've got a base model or a Veloster N or a full-blown track car, check out the link in the description below. That'll take you to our product page for the Veloster N. Or if you've got another model, you can see all our fine products at p3gauges.com. If you've got any questions or comments on this product or anything else, please let us know below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share these videos. We're a small company. Word of mouth and social media is huge for P3, and we really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch these videos and share them with your friends. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.